Hello. In this case, we can see some white material is filling up the anterior chamber. Let us see what happens to this. 2.8 millimeter incision has been given, some white material has come out, and we can see a black area at the center of this field. Now, as we irrigate out this white material, we can see a mature white cataract. Now, in this case, we have planned to remove this cataract and implant an intraocular lens. This patient underwent vitreous surgery few months back. A side port incision on the right side of the main incision is given. We have planned to stain the capsule. A big air bubble is injected into the anterior chamber. Trypan blue dye is taken in a syringe and it is sprayed over the surface of the cataract. So the anterior capsule of the cataract is stained with trypan blue dye. Now viscoelastic substance is injected. This is 2% HPMC. I can manage with this economic viscoelastic substance almost all cases. I don't use high molecular weight viscoelastic substances. Most of the cases, almost all, are managed with this simple viscoelastic substance, 2% HPMC. As we can see, the anterior capsule has been incised and a flap has been raised. Now a ureter forceps is used to make a mini rhexis, a very small rhexis, because as soon as the anterior capsule was incised, a little bit of oily fluid came out, indicating high intralenticular pressure. This is a vitrectomized eye, and I don't want to take any chance of run away of the capsular rhexis. Now let us discuss why the white material filled up the anterior chamber. Yes, it was emulsified silicon oil. And how did it come? Unless there is some zonular dehiscence, which is not visible in this field, but still, unless there is some zonular dehiscence, the silicon oil cannot come from the vitreous cavity into the anterior chamber. So there must be zonular dehiscence, and in this case, to support the equator of the lens, to support the equator of the capsular bag, I have planned to use a capsular tension ring. Now viscoelastic substance is injected and a small cut is given with a Vannas scissor at around 7 o'clock. Here it is. Now the ureter forceps is taken again and an optimum sized capsulorhexis is made. So this is two-stage rhexis, first a mini rhexis and then an optimum sized one. With this technique, for the last several years, I haven't come across any single case of Argentine flag sign. Now this is the CTR, capsular tension ring, which supports the equator of the lens, equator of the capsular bag. The CTR is washed with balanced salt solution and it is introduced through the main incision. In this case, the capsulorhexis size of the capsulorhexis is about 5 to 5.5 millimeter. The CTR is going into the capsular bag. It is rotating, and now I take a Sinskey hook, place the prong of the Sinskey hook in the eye of the CTR and gently place the CTR inside the capsular bag, and it goes to the equator of the capsular bag. Viscoelastic substance is used. Now is the time to go into the antechamber with the tip of the Phaco handpiece. The mobility of the nucleus, mobility of the cataract has been checked. Now this is an Oatley machine. I do direct chop. This cataract is not very hard, it is grade 3 plus, but we can see that the fibers are leathery. This is the second chop and I try to take out this triangular fragment. Yes. Rotate the nucleus and make the third chop. In this way, one by one, I make a fragment and emulsify the fragment. At this time, the machine is in Phaco 2 mode. In this case, the power is 65%, flow rate is 45 and vacuum is 450. This is the last fragment. In Oatley machine, the irrigation is so good that even in this silicon filled eye, the posterior capsule is pushed towards the vitreous cavity and it doesn't come to the tip of the Phaco handpiece. The small particles of the nucleus is removed through the side port. Now we can see that the posterior capsule is bulging towards the cornea. The posterior capsule is pushed back, injecting some viscoelastic substance. Now in this case, there is no cortical matter left. So all the cortical matter is removed. We can see a black plaque on the posterior capsule. Now this cannot be polished out. This is firmly adherent to the posterior capsule. It may be on the posterior aspect of the posterior capsule towards the vitreous side. Now I don't try to polish it, and definitely we are not going to remove it, making a posterior rhexis. If we puncture the posterior capsule, the silicone oil will start coming and the case will be very difficult. This is a hydrophilic acrylic eye well. The eye well is being placed in the cartridge. Both the haptics are on the upper surface of the eye well. The eye well is pushed towards the tip of the cartridge by the injector. Now here it goes. The eye well is injected in the capsular bag. The chopper guides the lens, supports the upper surface of the lens, and we can see the leading haptic has gone into the capsular bag. Now we take a Sinskey hook and dial the trailing haptic into the capsular bag. So the lens is placed in the capsular bag. So it is not difficult to operate on a vitrectomized eye. We must take care of the posterior capsule because the silicone oil is always pushing the posterior capsule towards the corneal endothelium. If the anterior chamber is not maintained well, the posterior capsule will come into the tip of the phaco handpiece, and if a P-serient occurs, it will be almost impossible to place an eye well. In this case, the plaque has given some support to the posterior capsule. It has made the posterior capsule tough. Now I am irrigating the viscoelastic substance. I am going behind the eye well and I am flushing out the viscoelastic substance behind the posterior capsule. The case is almost over. I irrigate and try to form the but the wound is leaking. The side ports are leaking and the chamber is becoming shallow. Moxifloxacin is injected into the anterior chamber. The side ports are now hydrated with BSS. The side ports are nicely hydrated so that these sides become watertight. Now this is a view under higher magnification. We can see the plaque very clearly in this view. While the vitreoretinal surgeon will operate, he will excise this plaque after removing the silicone oil from the vitreous cavity. That's it. The chamber has been formed and the case is over. So we must be very patient while operating on a vitrectomized eye. Care must be taken so that the posterior capsule remains intact. Thank you very much for watching.